Welcome back to Tax Talk Live. We are live on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. It is 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and you all already know what time it is. So we're going to go ahead and get into today's information that we have for you on Tax Talk Live. So let's go ahead and get started. As you all know, our favorite resource, the IRS's website. That's where you can get the most credible information from. And so we want to go to the IRS's website just to share with you all some really important information that was recently updated within the past 48 hours. So the IRS releases these new updates every single day. And so we, myself and the team, we always pay attention to see what's going on and how that pertains to each and every one of you all and how it can be helpful so that you can be informed with the right information. So I'm going to go ahead and put something up on the screen really quick just to share with you all what's the latest and greatest from the IRS. And also just to let you all know as well, some of the recent announcements that we may have talked about last week or the prior week, there's also been some changes to those announcements as well. So I want to go ahead and put up here so that you all can see what are our current new announcements. So you should be able to see what's on the screen now, and we're talking about the IRS has announced tax relief. This is tax relief for those taxpayers who've been impacted by severe storms and flooding. And this is in the state of Massachusetts. So there were some various deadlines that were put out there. And so I want to walk through this really quick so we can update you all on what the latest and greatest is from the IRS. So we see that this came out on May 31st. This was actually just yesterday. The IRS Internal Revenue Service announced tax relief for those individuals and businesses affected in the state of Massachusetts by severe storms and flooding that began on September 11th, 2023. So this relief goes all the way back, starting from those individuals that were affected by those storms on September the 11th of 2023. Now, what the IRS is saying is that these taxpayers now have until July 31st of 2024 to file various federal, individual, and business tax returns and make payments. So they have until the end of July to go ahead and make those filings and go ahead and make those business tax payments. Now, get this, those individuals will not be penalized because this is an official announcement from the IRS offering relief. And also for those of you who are in any area that's been designated by FEMA. All right, this area has to be designated by FEMA. And we know FEMA is the Federal Emergency Management Agency, right? So if you've been affected, there's a FEMA designated area. And I want you all to go to the IRS's website to take a look at your area. And so if you reside or have a business in those areas, then you can be eligible for also relief that's been provided by our IRS. And so currently, when we look at Massachusetts, we look at individuals, we look at households that reside or have a business also in Bristol and Worcester counties. They qualify for tax relief. And the same will be available to any other counties added later to the disaster area. So as I said, there's a list of other counties that are there. We're going to just touch on a couple of the options that they're providing for relief. But if this applies to you, I want you to come here to the IRS's website and I want you to take a look at it. And so for individual tax returns, we all know that those were due April the 15th of 2024. for the filing and the payments, right? Unless you filed an extension to file. But if you had a payment due, that payment was still due. So we don't want to mix the filing and the payment. The filing was due April 15th unless you filed an extension, right? The payment is still normally due. But if you in this disaster area, then the IRS have given you relief on both filing and payment until July 31st. So this is one of the first options that you have of relief that's been provided to you as an individual. And also for S corporations, also for those businesses that normally have to file on March the 15th of 2024. So the IRS is also giving you until July 31st as an S corporation to file and also to be able to make those payments. Now, last but not least, calendar year tax exempt organizations. These may be your nonprofit organizations. These may be other organizations that are considered as tax exempt. You also normally file on May 15th. It's normally due by May 15th. So you also have relief until July 31st if you are in the Massachusetts area and you're eligible for this tax relief. So come here to the website. I want you all to take a look to see if you actually apply. Now, let's go ahead and move over to another very important piece of information, right? So this came out on May 30th by the IRS. So the IRS is now making direct file, right? So those of you who are familiar with direct file, they're making direct file a permanent option to file your federal tax returns. Now, this is expanded access for more taxpayers, and that's also planned for the upcoming 2025 filing season. So let's take a look. We're going to scroll down. Let's take a look at, basically what the IRS is talking about here and how this may or may not apply to you. So we see here in the write-up, as I said, this was just released 2 days ago on May 30th of 2024. And we see that the IRS is exploring ways to expand the direct file to make more taxpayers eligible in the 2025 filing season and beyond by examining options to broaden the direct file availability across the nation, including covering more tax situations and inviting all next year. So this is something that they're working on. And the IRS also mentions that they've had a successful filing season pilot. And many of you are very familiar. If you're piloting something, you're doing it in a limited capacity. You're doing it in a limited area. It's not widely open to everybody. So they're saying following a successful filing season pilot and also feedback, they've received feedback from a number of partners. The IRS announced that they will make direct file permanent. And so this is kind of the basis why they're coming out with this announcement, because they found the pilot successful. Then secondly, they've also received feedback. Now, we have to assume that feedback has been mixed. That feedback has been both positive and then maybe not so positive. But overall, we have to assume that the overall majority of that feedback has been positive for them to proceed with the pilot after seeing it was successful in its initial implementation. So direct file would be a permanent option for filing your tax returns, your federal tax returns in 2025. And so why this is so important is because many of you right now, just like me, we just completed the first 5 months of 2024. And so if you're tax planning and if you're focused on making sure you can reduce your tax liability, then you've already started your tax planning for 2024. And so direct file may be an option for you. It may be something you want to look into a little bit more, understand the details, and understand if it's a good fit for you or not. And so you want to be able to do that by coming here to the IRS's website, and then you want to maybe be able to incorporate that into your planning, or at least have a discussion with your tax professional, right? So want to make sure you all definitely understand that and want to make sure you all get that information. So we're going to go ahead and switch over to our next topic. We're going to come back to our main screen here, but I want you all to basically look at, Tax Talk Premium. And we keep talking about Tax Talk Premium because we want you all to understand that there's a legitimate resource here to help you understand and improve. So basically, along the journey, you're going to be able to understand, and also you're going to be able to improve your individual tax liability. And also, if you are a business owner, if you're an entrepreneur, if you're an investor, you're going to be able to improve your business tax liability. And so we want to invite you to take a look at the link. I'm going to ask the team to go ahead and put the link down in the comment section so that you all can take a look at Tax Talk Premium, which is our premier product that we work with you in a group setting. We also work with you in various one-on-one settings to make sure you get the proper attention, but also to make sure you get the proper education, because it's all about education. It's all about learning. And then once you learn, you can actually apply what you've learned. So we want you to take a look at Tax Talk Live, Tax Talk Premium, so that you can understand what benefits may be there and what may be a good fit for you or either for your business. All right. So last but not least, before we wrap this up, I want you all to go ahead and start thinking about what questions you all may have. We're going to be taking questions here in the next 2 minutes, but I want to continue on something that I started talking about: tax professionals, right? I talked last week about making sure that you set the expectations between you and your tax professional. And so if you didn't get a chance to check that out, then I want you to go back and take a look at, our Tax Talk Live from last week. That was Tax Talk Live episode 14. So I want you all to take a look at that. Now, when it comes to your tax professional, I want you all to understand this, because I've seen many people struggle with this. Cheaper is not always better. You're not always getting the best value out of a tax professional because you're paying a cheaper price. There's a saying I like to use: you get what you pay for. And I know that's a common saying, but you actually get what you pay for, and you get what you set expectation for as well. And so I want you all to understand, when you're researching, if you're like me, you're going to be interviewing several tax professionals before you hire them. But I want you all to understand, if you're trying to improve your tax situation, you want to go with someone who's going to be able to fit your expectations. Now, fitting your expectations and everything that you need as an individual, or everything that your business needs, that may cost you. Okay. So I need you to understand aligning your expectations with your cost, or either your budget. Now, in saying that, I'm not encouraging you to go out and get the most expensive tax professional to say that they're the best. I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is that you want to go out and you want to look for those tax professionals that are aligned and that have extensive knowledge and experience in the area that you're operating in. For example, if you're an investor and you invest in real estate, then you want to get someone who understands the tax laws and they have experience in getting, tax benefits that are more advantageous for the individual, for the business that operates in the real estate sector. So you want to do your due diligence, you want to go and interview, and you want to set your expectations. Now, again, having experienced myself with around 6, 7, 8 different firms, and then maybe around 4 to 5 individuals, you're typically going to see maybe, depending on where you live in the United States, you may see $99 an hour. You may see some CPAs requesting all the way up to $130, maybe $150 an hour. So those are just some typical costs and some typical ranges you may expect to pay. I'm not saying that if you pay less than that, you're not getting great value. The value is going to be in the result. So I want to be very crystal clear about that. The value is going to be in the result. What's the result that you're going to get? Are you going to be satisfied with that result that you're going to receive? All right. So I just wanted to go ahead and put that out there. As I continue to talk about expectations, we're going to be talking about costs, just trying to make sure you understand those little nuances that you need to focus on to identify the proper tax professional for you. So let's go ahead and queue up some questions real quick to see what questions you all may have. Shout out to the Frugal Millionaires team, the hardest working team in social media, the Frugal Millionaires team. Thank you all for putting that link up for everyone to be able to get that one-on-one coaching, to be able to get those tax strategy sessions, to go and take a look at that. So let's look at what we have for any questions that may be up right now. We're just going to give a few minutes to take any questions if we have any, and if not, we'll conclude here shortly. Just double checking my screen. I don't see any questions so far. So we're going to go ahead and conclude. I don't see any questions. Thank you all for tuning in to Tax Talk Live each and every Saturday morning, 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Come here and get your daily dose of tax information free of charge. All you have to do is just show up, and we want to be able to give you the most relevant information. We want to point you in the right direction, and we want to answer your questions. So continue to show up, continue to support the Frugal Millionaires, and we're grateful for your support. And we'll see you back here next week, same place, same time. Thank you all. And until the next one.